Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be using a card sketch to create this card today. And this is part of the Lawn Fawn blog challenge, the current blog challenge. And you can see that design here. So it's a really simple and easy card design. So let's go ahead and get started here. To create the background for our card, we're going to be using the Lawn Fawn Stitched Cloudy backdrop, and we're going to go ahead and die cut that from some Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock. I'm placing it on a little bit of an angle there to run it through the die cutting machine because this is such a big die. It's much easier to run it through on an angle. Now I've got the Distress Oxide ink in the Uncharted Mariner, and I've got a blending brush here. This is from Hero Arts. I'm going to start adding some of this ink, but I don't want to fill in this entire panel. I just want to add some ink here and there. I want sort of part of the white to show through in the background there, and I want some light areas and darker areas. And you can kind of see that there, that I'm not filling that in completely. Now once we have that done, we're going to add a second layer to this. This is the Cloudy Stencil from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to grab the Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink pad this time, and we're going to add these clouds. This will just add another layer of clouds in the background here. And I like to kind of place that ink on the stencil first and then push it up over the top of the stencil. And this stencil has 4 different sides to it, so you can keep turning it and getting different clouds on each side of this stencil. So you want to work your way all the way down to the bottom here. And now you can see that gives us a lot more interest and texture in the background there. Now to give it a little sparkle, I'm using the Lawn Fawn Liquid Stardust. This is just a really sparkly liquid, but you do want to make sure you shake it really well before you place some on your craft mat. And then I'm using the Distress sprayer, which just has water in it, and a small paintbrush, and I'm going to spatter this entire background. And that's going to give us a nice sparkly look to the backdrop here. So I'll set that aside to dry and grab the Rain or Shine Before and After stamp set. We're going to use the rainbow, those clouds, and then later on we'll be using one of those sentiments. And that comes with the coordinating dies. And then I've got the Lawn Fawn Plain and Simple stamp and die set as well. And we're just going to grab all 3 of those clouds from there, the small, medium, and large. So I've placed these in my mini MISTI stamp positioner. And for ink today, we're going to be using the VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and that's a permanent black ink. I'll go ahead and ink those up really quickly, and we can stamp these. I'm just going to use my Stampendable stamp press to press that out. Now we can go ahead and do some coloring. Today I'm using the Tombow TwinTone markers. This is the Bright collection, and these are a dual tip marker, and I'll show you here. Well, these are the colors we're going to be using: the strawberry red, carrot orange, lime green, blue, and grape. There's 2 tips to this. So there's that fine point tip, and then there's this bullet tip. And you can see I scribbled those up in the corner there so you can get a look at that. So these are water-based markers, but this tip is not a brush tip. It is a bullet tip, so it's a little bit on the harder side. But it will blend very easily, and to do my blending I'm using my Zig blender pen, and you could use a water brush here as well if you prefer that. I just thought these colors were just so vibrant and so pretty that I would use them here. But these markers are great for journaling. Because of that dual tip, you can do some really interesting writing with the thick and thin lines. So if you do a lot of journaling, or if you like to add little stitch marks and things to your cards or your journals, this set is really great for that. So I will link that down below, and all the other products I'm using today as well, if you're interested in that. So again, I'm just going to blend that out. I'm kind of leaving a little highlight there, sort of not quite on the center, just off to the right a little bit where that sun is going to be coming across that rainbow. Now, I went back to the zigs to grab a yellow and an orange. I do not have those colors in this Brights collection. And so I just wanted to do the sun in those two colors. So I'm starting with the yellow, and then I'll apply that orange for a little bit of a shadow here. And then I'll just quickly blend that out. This card is really quick. There's quick and simple coloring. It doesn't take any time at all. And then I'm going back to the zigs and grabbing my aquamarine blue, and I'm just going to add just a light blue shadow on the bottom of each of these clouds. So if you want to make a lot of cards, this is a great card design. It's really simple and easy to do, and you can create lots of these. You could set this up and just mass produce this card because it could be used for just about anything. So I'm going to use the liquid Stardust just like we did before to do that spattering, only this time I'm using a paintbrush and I'm not going to water it down. Just going to grab that liquid Stardust just as is and then paint it on some of these areas here. So I'll paint it into all of those clouds and then that little sun. Now once those were dry, I did set that aside to dry. I grabbed the coordinating dies and we can tape those down with some purple tape. Now I did want to show you that Sizzix came out with an extended cutting plate, and you get the two plates in the packaging, and it's about 1 inch longer than the plate we had before. So this is about 6 inches and the other one was about 5 inches. It's the same width, but the length is a little bit longer. So you can see here you can get some extra items on here, which I really like. If you're die cutting a lot of little pieces, that extra space is going to be invaluable. So now let's go ahead and just take a look at these. I'll finish die cutting the rest of those off camera. Now let's go to the Lawn Fawn Very Special stamp set, and I'm going to grab that little mouse there, that little one that was up in the upper left hand corner there. So we'll go ahead and place that back in the mini MISTI. And we'll do some quick stamping here again. Now you could certainly stamp all your images at once. I just wasn't sure which little critter I was going to place on this card. So I've got the Cool Gray number 3, and I'm going to start with that and just kind of blend that in a little bit. And then I'll add some Sugared Almond Pink to the cheeks here. And now for the little outfit, I'm going back to that strawberry red that we used before on the rainbow. And these markers are great for getting into these smaller areas because, again, you do have that little fine tip on the other end. So if you need to, you could really use that to color in some of these, like I did there, some of these tiny little areas. So I went back to the blue to do that little pocket. I've grabbed the coordinating die. I'm taping that down with some purple tape. And I'll go back to the Sizzix Sidekick machine and run that through. Going back to that stamp set, the Rain or Shine Before and After stamp set, I'm going to grab that sentiment there. And that says Sending Sunshine. And I'll use the Everyday Sentiment Banners dies from Lawn Fawn to die cut this. I want it to be off to the left-hand side of this banner, so I'm just kind of placing that down just so I can see about where I want to stamp that. And I'll go ahead and do my stamping. Again, this little design would be great for just about any kind of card. I'm using this generic sentiment that I think can be used for either thinking of you or a get well or happy birthday, whatever you want. You just change up the sentiment for the inside. Now I did decide to go to that thinner banner die here. I was going to use that medium-sized one, but I thought this one was more appropriate for the size of this sentiment. So again, I'll tape that down and run that through the die cut machine. So let's go ahead and start our assembly. I'm going to use some Scotch foam mounting tape, and I'll run that all along the back of this. I want to make sure this stands up nice and securely here. I'll just remove the backing from the tape, and then I'll place this on the card down towards the bottom here. And I do want to make sure that it's nice and straight. So I am going to grab my T-square and just double check that. Just before I press it down firmly, I'm just double checking to make sure that's straight across. Now we can go ahead and add the rest of these little pieces. So this is a great way to get some inspiration. Grabbing a card sketch, and there's lots of card sketches on the internet. You can just type in the words card sketch and lots of different ideas will come up. So sometimes if you're having a little creative lull, that's a great way to get started. Just kind of look at, just pick one. Don't think about it too much. Just grab one and just start to create something. And you'll be surprised that it sort of just gets your creative juices flowing again. Just makes it a lot easier to get started. Because sometimes we just get in that place where we're just not sure what to create, or just ideas just aren't coming to us. So this is a fun way to get started. So I am using a combination of that foam mounting tape and the adhesive, the glue here, to glue these down. And I am using that brand new jumbo glue tube from Lawn Fawn to glue everything down here. That's a nice strong adhesive. Some of these clouds I'll do flat. I'll do the ones in the back flat, and then I'll pop up those clouds in front of that one there. And then to kind of go along with that card sketch, which is to have something going straight across the card, sort of about 3/4 of the way down, and then some little things that take your eye up towards the right and then down towards the left. So it's a really cute little card design. So I've got a piece of Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock that measures 4¼ by 11 inches, and I'm scoring that at 5½. So we'll have a standard A2 size top folding card. So that will measure 4¼ by 5½. I'm just using the Lawn Fawn bone folder to press that out. Now I can go back to that jumbo glue tube and glue these two together. I wanted to add a little heart here, and this Picket Fence Studios Sequin mix has this cute little heart. It has a little purple center on it. So I'm just going to grab that and pop that right on the sun there. Now that little rain or shine stamp set does have a little smiley face that you can put on the sun. So you could certainly do that instead. I wanted to add this little heart and bring in a little bit more of that purpley color. So now let's take a closer look at the finished card, and you can see all that beautiful sparkle. And I love that layering of the clouds. So we have the cloud stencil, the cloud backdrop, and then the little white clouds on the front. So it really is a great way to add interest without a lot of work. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.